What's going on, guys? So I wanted to make a quick live. I just stopped and got some gas, but I want to make this quick live just because something that's been on my mind recently is the topic of camera gear and always having the best camera gear, right? And I think this is a trap that a lot of videographers and a lot of filmmakers fall into is I have to have the best camera. Like, what's the best? Red Komodo. Oh no, I need to get the Pocket 6K, or I need to get this certain lighting kit before I can start making money. And I want to tell you a quick story to kind of illustrate this point. So when I first started by actually working at a country club. It was called Atlanta Athletic Club. And I was a server at that country club for about 3 years. And I was trying to get my video business off the ground. I was trying to make it work. But every time I got a paycheck, I would spend my entire paycheck on new camera gear for my business that wasn't making me any money. So you could see how this didn't really make any sense. And so for 3 years, I would get paycheck after paycheck after paycheck after paycheck. And every single time I bought a new camera, or I bought a new lighting kit, or I bought a new tripod, or I bought a new lens. And every time, for some reason, I fell into this trap of thinking that every time I bought a new camera, piece of camera gear, or a new piece of gear at all, that somehow I would be able to justify charging higher rates to clients. And honestly, I think this is why I was at the country club and I was working as a server for 3 years. It's because I fell into this vicious cycle of buying camera gear, thinking that I'm going to be able to charge more, and then not being able to charge more and having no money, thinking I can charge more by buying more camera gear, and just going around and around and around and around. And honestly, it's just a vicious cycle. I mean, that's why I could never leave. I was finally able to get in touch with the communications director at the country club that I worked at. And they actually let me do a video, an internal video for their staff. And that's actually the first real client that I ever got. And during that whole sales conversation, not once did they ask me what camera I used or what camera gear I had. And I almost walked out of that meeting disappointed. Like, I had just landed my first $5,000 deal, but for some reason I was disappointed because they didn't ask me what camera I was using. It's such a flawed mindset. But this is a trap that a lot of people fall into. And it wasn't until I met this gym owner that I was trying to pitch to continue to get my video business off the ground. And finally he said to me, after I pitched him, he said, "This was terrible. You need to learn marketing and sales." I was like, marketing and sales? I'm like, no, I think I just need better camera gear. And he was like, no, read this book. He recommended me a book on marketing and sales. I was hesitant at first to actually pick up the book. But once I picked up the book, it changed my entire life, to be honest with you. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, it changed my entire life. For some reason, I had never recognized that clients don't care about camera gear. Now, unless you're going to a production company or you're going to an agency as your client, and that's the client you're going to, if you're going direct to client, they literally do not care what you're using. You could be using an iPhone for all they care. As long as your video helps them achieve some sort of business result as a result of the video that you create for them, they could not care less about what camera you use. And after reading that book and learning the marketing and sales aspect of this, I finally started to invest into programs that would teach me how to market myself better and how to learn the sales process for selling video better. And that was really where I saw the most change in my video business, was after I invested into mentorship and courses and things to actually learn the business side and not just the video side. A really great example of this is you could have the best car in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it and you don't tell anybody about it, you're not going to sell any. There are people with worse cars out there, worse video products, that know how to sell it better than you, that are making more money than you. And so I really want you to let that sink in. There are people making worse videos than you, making more money than you. And I'm not telling you to invest in me or buy any of my stuff or do anything like that, but just invest in someone. Invest in someone's program to learn the marketing and sales necessary to sell your video services. or you're going to be stuck in the same loop that I was, buying camera gear, thinking it's going to make you charge more, and not being able to charge more and buying more camera gear. Food for thought. You don't have to invest with me, but I want you to invest in someone, because that is what's going to take your video business to the next level. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me. I have quite a few DMs, but I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. All right, guys, I'll see you.